Hello, and you're welcome to Global Business Insights, where you get more on the main business headlines across the globe. The U.S. Commerce Department Census Bureau said today that wholesale inventories fell 0.4% as estimated last month. Stocks at wholesalers rebounded 0.2% in February. Still in the US, the Biden administration is looking to a new initiative to safeguard US AI from China, with preliminary plans to place guardrails around the most advanced artificial intelligence models, the core software of artificial intelligence systems like ChatGPT. The move could also restrict the export of proprietary or closed source AI models, including software and related data. Markets in the US opened on the back foot as the attempt at a rebound seems to be stalling. Recent earnings releases have been disappointing, and that may have hurt sentiment. Surprise losses from Uber and Shopify, and a weak outlook from Intel as the UK revoked export licenses to China has not helped. Shopify also warned that sale of its logistics business would weigh on second quarter revenue growth. The National Highway Transportation Safety Administration investigation into Tesla's driverless feature may also be weighing on sentiment. The NHTSA recently sent Tesla a letter asking for details regarding 20 vehicles involved in accidents happening with driver assistant features engaged. In another sign of emerging divergence between Europe and the US, Sweden's central bank cut interest rates for the first time in 80 years. The Riksbank reduced its main interest rate by 0.25 percentage points to 3.75%, also adding that two more cuts could be expected if inflation continues to show signs of easing. Tomorrow by noon, we will get the Bank of England Monetary Policy Committee decision on the key monetary parameters. TikTok has launched a legal battle against the Attorney General in the US, saying its ban is an illegal affront on free speech. The petition says for the first time in history, Congress has enacted a law that subjects a single-named speech platform to a permanent nationwide ban and bars every American from participating in a unique online community with more than 1 billion people worldwide. Apple shares, as we speak, are flat, shunning yesterday's milestone iPad upgrade event. We will replay our earlier clip on what's new for iPads. And following in Nigeria, an earlier announcement of a 0.5% cybersecurity levy on electronic transactions, the Central Bank of Nigeria on Monday listed several categories of transactions granted exemptions from the levy.
Let me start by saying that every ship has a potential of a shipwreck. So when the world introduced or adopted the use of digital technology into its financial, monetary, and banking transactions, they had the potential of having cyber attacks. And that is one reason that what we now call the Cybersecurity Act was introduced. And I must say that this was actively promoted by the International Monetary Fund that even recorded sometime last month that in the last 20 years, the world has suffered about $12 billion losses through cyber attacks. Now, in 2015, under the leadership or the presidency of President Goodluck Jonathan, Nigeria enacted an act, a cybersecurity act, that came up with the cybersecurity fund as well as the cybersecurity levy, which says that 0.005 of certain transactions must be deducted, as they go through the banking sector. They must be deducted and transferred to the cybersecurity fund. Some of these transactions are GSM service providers, internet service providers, bank and other financial transactions, as well as even insurance companies. Their transactions are subject to this 0.005 percent deductions towards the cybersecurity fund. But it's becoming a problem for Nigerians in the face of the financial hardship that they are facing. Right now, subsidy has been removed from electricity sector, from petrol products, as well as the unification or the free floating of the naira, which has resulted in inflation as well as what some people regard as food inflation. That is responsible for the blowback from the public, and the media and the analysts are talking about this, and it's like adding more problem to the issues of Nigerians. Some people even are suggesting that maybe the idea of cashless banking was brought up so that you can people can take their money from under their pillows and put it in the banks, so that government can have access to this bank and take their money even without their being able to prevent government from taking their money from them. But one is to add that part of the money is going to be taken to fight extreme terrorism. Part of that money is going to be used to finance finance counter-terrorism. Like you have Boko Haram, you have all these violent insurgencies throughout Nigeria, even this kidnapping and so part of this money is going to be used, and that is what why the money is going to be domiciled in the accounts of the Office of the National Security Advisor. Nigerians are already overtaxed. Apart from people who are paying their personal income tax, people are paying several levels. Even local government people in Nigeria will stop you on the road and start asking for certain kind of things. Even when you take a bus within big cities like Lagos, people are asking for, some touts are coming to take money from the conductor. Nigeria, and all this is being pushed back to the passengers, to the ordinary man on the street. And that is what the problem is all about. Maybe this is not the time. Yes, there was an act in 2015 and another act in early 2024 made to repeal the previous act and then to probably give more teeth to the Cyber Crime Act. But it's probably not the right time to introduce something else. Right now, when people like Nigerians are even still resisting the removal of subsidies.
Many Nigerians have condemned the introduction of a new levy on electronic banking transactions, with some saying it will push them back to using cash. A list of exceptions to the new cybersecurity levy in Nigeria was announced, including loan disbursements and repayments, salary payments, intra-account transfers within the same bank or between different banks for the same customer, and intra-bank transfers between customers of the same bank. Also excluded from application of the levy are bank transfers to central bank and vice versa, interbank transfers within a bank, and check clearing and settlements, letters of credits, and a host of other transactions. Many have observed that adding any additional weight to the already heavy cost of doing business in the present high interest rate, high inflation environment may be counterproductive, and other ways of raising these funds should also be considered. South Korea, for example, introduced the cybersecurity tax in 2018, but this tax, however, applies to internet service providers, ISPs, and telecommunications companies. Funds are used from these taxes to enhance the country's cybersecurity infrastructure and protect against cyber threats. Japan has a cybersecurity fund that is supported by contributions from both the government and private sector. France has a digital services tax levied on large technology companies, which includes components related to cybersecurity. The United Kingdom allocates funds from its national budget to support cybersecurity efforts. My research did not pick up any such levy on bank customers. While we have seen banks levied for costs of bailing out smaller banks in the US, and windfall taxes for unusually high profits by oil companies to support fiscal gaps. Cybersecurity is, of course, a very serious concern for commerce. In the new generative AI era, embedding adequate safeguards is crucial, requiring comprehensive risk assessment and design that will lead to implementation of appropriate security postures. Still on Nigeria, Microsoft has reportedly shut down the engineering section of its Africa Development Center in Nigeria 2 years after it was opened. The center, the other one being in Nairobi, Kenya, was opened in 2022 to deliver high-end engineering solutions for Microsoft. The Nairobi center was not affected by the shutdown. Apple shares did not move much after Tim Cook described the latest launch of iPads as the most consequential upgrade in the history of the iconic smartphone. Still, it was quite a show, but for more loyal fans, it will be more about the price. The new Air using the M2 chip from the previous M1 goes for $599 for the 11-inch model and $799 for the 13-inch version. The iPad Pro, the thinnest Apple product ever, impossibly thin, they say, and incredibly powerful, with the Super M4 chip, 50% faster than the M2, which you have in the old iPad Pros, and with the organic light emitting diode OLED display screen. With the new most advanced display, Ultra Retina XDR technology starts at $999 for the 11-inch model and $1,299 for the 13-inch. Plus, you have an array of apps upgraded, like the new Logic Pro app for content creators with super fast rendering, also taking animations and creativity to new levels. The Magic Keyboard, which I like, is completely revamped with more buttons and stronger aluminium casing. It doesn't come cheap at $349, and the Apple Pencil Pro will cost $129. Gasp. The price for the old iPad 10th generation has been slashed down, thankfully, to allow entry into the 10th generation iPad world at a lower price level. Obviously, if you don't need a more powerful, faster, thinner machine with a crisper picture and phenomenal brightness, and you're not into content or animation creation, and you don't use advanced music and video edit studio features, and not into graphic intensive games in a big way, you are best advised to stay with your old iPad. The M4, however, is something worth trying out, especially as new AI-powered apps are coming and more powerful apps updates may need that extra M4 speed and efficiency, and soon you will not have choice but to upgrade. At the June 10 Worldwide Developers Conference, we'll learn more on what's next and Apple's strategy for artificial intelligence software. Apple shares trading was rather thin, like the new iPad, with shares up an unimpressive 0.3% at close yesterday. European markets closed higher today as investors digested more earnings reports in the region. Well, that's it from me on Global Business Insights. This is Bode Oshosami. Please share and kindly follow on Facebook and LinkedIn, subscribe on YouTube and X. Thank you very much for watching and following. Bye-bye.